Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Front Row Access Podcast. I am your host, Steven Russo.
Anthony Gonzalez here.
Let's fucking get it. Alright, guys. I'm about, 2 seconds, 2 clicks away from fucking crashing out, alright? This is our second fucking take for this damn
we still
podcast.
got SmackDown to go
And
on
we still
after
have
this.
we still have fucking SmackDown that we have to watch.
Thankfully, the duo will provide for us.
Yeah, Pepsi, hit us up. frontrowaccess15@gmail.com. Plus, you can find us on all the social medias except for Facebook, because fuck Facebook. It's usually some rendition of Front Row Access. Go ahead and find it. I don't feel like giving you the specifics right now. You'll fucking find it. All right? I'm like a second. I'm so sorry for my behavior today. It's really, really fucking bad. So I'm using this ghetto ass light for lighting. It's a fucking table lamp without the shade on it because my fucking ring light's cooked, and my camera is just mediocre at best. It works, but it's also mediocre at best. And we got UFC 308 this week because at the time this will be uploaded, it's fucking fight week. And Ilya Topuria is defending his featherweight title against Max Blessed Holloway. Now,
that's that guy we went into all the details with and whatnot on the
the Max Holloway special. The Max Holloway special that is still not out yet.
That is now going to be out date.
It's already out of date. Bro, we filmed that shit before 300. And now it's fucking... guys, I had midterms this week. I have more midterms next week. I'm writing 2 stories for my school's newspaper. Shout out to the roadie Good 5 Cent Cigar. And I already wrote a story that I had to fucking cram into Monday night to do. And it was due on Tuesday at 12 p.m. So, guys, I'm fucking done. I'm cooked. I'm fucking cooked right now.
We couldn't even record the episode for last week.
Nope. We couldn't record for last week's fight night. And now it's fight week. We told you we'd do every pay-per-view. We are keeping that promise. So, UFC 308, probably one of the most anticipated cards that's coming out of this year. Because, let's be honest, we all collectively groaned when Volkanovski got knocked out by Ilya Topuria. And the one big thing that everybody had to say about Ilya Topuria winning that title and even being in position to compete for it, he never went through the Max Holloway test. We all know that in order to get to Volkanovski, you have to fucking beat Max Holloway. And Ilya Topuria just fucking dug underneath that gate and just went out on the other side and was able to fight Volk and fucking won. And did not have to go.
Holloway was busy preparing to prove he's a bad motherfucker.
Yep, so obviously, guys, it's going to be a very exciting card. It's probably one of the most anticipated this year because, we have Max Holloway, who had that crazy moment at the beginning of the year with that knockout over Justin Gaethje in the last second of the final round. That was fucking excellent.
You know what else was highly anticipated that would probably top this one?
Which one?
Fucking Greggy.
Oh, yeah, Gregory and Chandler.
Yeah.
Yeah, that fight didn't fucking happen. It's probably not going to happen now. But before we get into 308, guys, I gotta cover some news for you. The UFC 310 main event is now around. If you are a fight fan, you probably already know by now. But if you guys are just getting into the sport of MMA, UFC 310 main event has been confirmed. It is Bilal Muhammad and Shavkat Rakhmonov for the welterweight title. And we have Alessandro Pantoja facing up against a debuting champion from Ryzen MMA in Japan. I don't even remember the dude's name right now. I promise I will get it at some point. The flyweight is just in absolute shambles, guys, and it's, nobody else wanted to fight the guy. And Alessandro Pantoja said, I'll take him. And,
we got Ferguson fighting come up too, right?
Ferguson?
No, not Figueiredo. That one.
Figueiredo, yes. Piotr Jan and Davison Figueiredo has been confirmed for fight night as well. Tell me that fight won't be fucking fireworks.
It's gonna be amazing.
It's gonna be fucking fireworks. I'm gonna love watching every second of that fight. And, yeah, that's all for the news right now. And, yeah, let's fucking get into 308, man. So, UFC 308, we're gonna go over the featured prelim and the main card. You guys know how we operate this shit around here. So, the featured prelim is Rafael Dos Anjos.
Oh,
what's up?
We should also tell them the time.
Oh, yeah. All right, guys, so UFC 308 has a special start time. We're in Abu Dhabi. You know what that means. That means we have to get our asses up to watch the fight.
I'm coming with donuts.
Fuck yeah, just like you did last year. Son of a bitch. Okay. Hang on 1 second while I stall.
And it was the thing with Saudi Arabia is that they're trying to get more pay-per-views in, be it WWE, TKO, or even UFC. I feel like they're gonna try getting 3 specific Saudi Arabia pay-per-views per each promotion. I mean, if it blows up the sport, I'm all for it. It's just I don't like things being crammed. But I mean, if the paper's there, you can go chase it. There's no reason not to do it. I know they have all types of deals in Saudi Arabia, like with that soccer player that has to show up all the goddamn time.
Uh-huh.
Because they got the monies.
They got the money from that fucking black gold known as oil.
Feel free to sponsor us.
Feel free to sponsor us, honestly. I could definitely vouch for your oil company. But yeah, guys, so it's going down Abu Dhabi, and yeah, so the prelims are going to start at 10 a.m. guys. 10 a.m. Set your alarms, wake up, go watch them prelims because you don't want to miss the featured prelim at least. So at least log on by 1:30. So and the main card starts at 2 p.m. So now that you guys know the special start time, we can get into the card now. So we're going to go over our featured prelim, which is Rafael Dos Anjos versus Jeff Neal. And then on the main card, we have Shara Magomedov versus Armin Petrosian. Not Armin Sarukian, Armin Petrosian. Different Armin. We have Magomed Ankalaev and Alexander Rakic. We also have Leron Murphy and Dan Ige. We have Robert Whitaker, Hamzat Chimaev, and Ilya El Matador Topuria. And I just spat all over the damn table. And Max Blessed Holloway.
Honestly, there is no reason for this pay-per-view to outperform Spear like it is. Like with Spear, there were a couple of guys I was like, why are they here?
Why are they here?
What's up with this?
Like, there were unranked guys on the fucking main card.
It's like every single one of those fighters, I know some part of or who they're going against, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, you made a better card here, and apparently the most anticipated card ever for the UFC Sphere is fucking... There's like nobodies on that shit. The only good fights were the 3 fights at the main card, and that was it. And those were pretty fucking boring, I'm gonna be honest with you. Oh! Getting right into UFC 308 here, man. So, featured prelim. Rafael Dos Anjos, or I'm going to refer to him as RDA, just easier. And he's going up against Jeff Neal. RDA is the number 14th welterweight in the world, and he's the plus 205 underdog going into this fight. Jeff Neal, on the other hand, is number 10 welterweight in the world, and is the minus 250 favorite. Go into a little bit of detail about both of these guys. RDA, for you guys that are OG, you'll know that RDA is not a welterweight. He is a former lightweight champion, and he had that title for about 1,000 days. Good for him, you know? And then just to lose it to Eddie Alvarez, in which Eddie Alvarez would lose it just a couple of months later to Conor McGregor. So that's just the lineage right there. And then, but RDA was a very good champion at the time. He had a couple of defenses under his belt. He was supposed to fight Conor McGregor, but then he pulled out of the fight, so Conor couldn't get his champ fight at that time, and then he ended up fighting Eddie Alvarez later on because Eddie Alvarez had a pretty good win. And then, McGregor would end up facing Eddie Alvarez, which is by far a better matchup for him than RDA was, because RDA in his prime, don't fuck with that guy, okay? RDA now, he's still good, but he's also not, like, where he was originally. But that just happens. Father Time is undefeated. So, unless your name is Jose Aldo, then you just end up turning back the clock like it's 2009 and tuning up motherfuckers and then getting robbed of your victory at the end of the fight. Yeah, I'm not going to get over that, Mike Bell.
Whenever I hear... Fuck Mike Bell, just for bringing that name up. But whenever I hear that phrase, I always think of this line from one of my favorite verses. They say, time's undefeated. I'm going to be the first one that can beat him.
What song's that coming from?
That is Eminem and Kid Cudi's.
Kid Cudi?
Yes, Adventures of Moonman and Slim.
I can't believe they did a song together. That's actually probably fire. I'm going to listen to that after we're done filming this. So, guys, RDA in his prime, basically, don't fuck with that guy, okay? Eddie Alvarez just had a good night that night, and that's how he was able to beat RDA, despite RDA being the favorite in that fight. And RDA was winning. Eddie Alvarez turned it up at the end, knocked him out. So
Get turned up like Edwards taking on Usman.
not even. But yeah. So RDA, it's got fantastic jiu-jitsu. The guy is absolutely excellent when it comes to the ground. Fucking wizard. Who knew? Who knew? The fucking Brazilian's good at Brazilian jiu-jitsu. Wow.
Unheard of.
And then on top of that, he's got some solid low leg kicks as well, and good hands on him, good kicks. So RDA is pretty much a pretty good whole package, but he definitely shines in the ground game. Jiu-jitsu is his bread and butter. Jeff Neal, the perennial gatekeeper of welterweight. This guy never ever really merges far beyond the top 10. He'll always get a win, he'll get a little bit up there like number 6, number 7, then he'll lose, go back down. That's just the nature of Jeff Neal. And RDA, he's on a 2-fight skid right now. And same with Jeff Neal. He's also on a 2-fight skid right now. So honestly, this was the perfect fight to make. And as I mentioned about Jeff Neal, he's the permanent gatekeeper at welterweight. So he prefers to strike, but he is a pretty well-rounded guy. I looked at his stats; they're pretty fucking even. And Jeff Neal in his last fight lost to Ian Gary. And RDA in his last fight lost to Matut's Game Rat. And so they're both coming off of losses. They're both like at the end, you know. So honestly, this was the fight to make. And despite RDA being the plus 205 underdog, give me RDA by submission on this one. I think he's gonna beat Jeff Neal up on the ground. What you got, Ant?
Gonna be straight with you. I am rooting for RDA all the way, but I don't see him having this one.
Got Jeff Neal?
Yeah, that's just because I know they're both on 2-fight skids, but it's always for me the weight class. I always get shaky on that. Like with Figueroa, I'm 100% behind him right now. He's doing phenomenal right now, but I see a 2-fight skid, and that you've recently changed weights where you're comfortable. I get a bit worried for you.
Get a bit worried there, so therefore you'll be taking Jeff Neal. You got any prediction on how he's gonna win that fight, or no?
No.
Just so fuck it, decision.
At like the very peripheral of my vision, I'd say round 3 ground and pound.
Round 3 ground and pound. Alrighty. So that's the featured prelim, guys. This should be a banger. Honestly, I'm looking forward to that fight. They're both at about the same point in their career. So that's what we're gonna do. And now going into this fucking main card, it starts off with a fucking train wreck. Okay, the opening fight on the main card is Shara Magomedov and Armin Petrosian. Guys, that's fucking insane. Shara Magomedov, obviously, we know him. We love him. The dude fights with one eye. He's a dynamic kickboxer and has Dagestani-level grappling. So, it's on a 3-fight winning streak, and he's already fought twice this year. And now he's fighting for a 3rd time. So, he's active. He's got a hype behind him. He's a scary motherfucker. And he's in his backyard. He can only fight in his backyard. I don't think he's able to get a visa to go to any other country except somewhere in the Middle East. I don't know why that's the case, but that's the case. And Armin Petrosian, he's coming off of a loss right now. He's also a pretty big kickboxer. He's a very high volume guy, and so is Shara Magomedov. Both of these guys are very dynamic strikers. They have high volume. They're both going to look for a finish. And the odds are really, really close. Shara Magomedov sits as a minus 185 favorite over Armin Petrosian's plus 154 underdog status. This is according to DraftKings, guys, which isn't legal in my fucking state yet. And then, but I'm not going to give you guys the Rhode Island Sportsbook fucking odds when DraftKings.
Fuck that.
Because fuck that. We're just going to give you the ones that everybody else is going to go by, which is the DraftKings odds.
That everyone else can use, because everyone else uses this one thing that works everywhere, except we can't, tax rate them and get money for the state.
This is why we can't. This is why we can't have nice things.
Yeah, we can't have nice things.
Fuck Rhode Island. Anyway, so this should be a fucking train wreck. I don't think this fight's gonna last much over 2 rounds. So I'm gonna take under 3 rounds. Actually, I'll say under 2 rounds, and give me Shara Magomedov by a fucking head kick. I'm looking forward to a nice head kick knockout from Shara Magomedov.
I mean, we didn't see one in Salt Lake City, so.
Exactly.
I also got Magomedov for this. I'm gonna say finish. Can't tell you what round though.
Are you gonna go over or under 2 rounds?
Uh, I'm gonna say under.
Yeah, I don't think this fight's lasted much past round 1, man. So early round 2, somebody's going down, or late round 1, someone's going down. So that fight should be an absolute banger to get us all excited for this card, and it follows it up with another fucking banger. We have Magomed Ankalaev and Alexander Rakic here. So Magomed Ankalaev, the number 2 ranked light heavyweight in the world. Alexander Rakic, number 5 ranked light heavyweight in the world. Magomed Ankalaev sits as a minus 395 favorite right now over Alexander Rakic plus 310. But don't let those odds fool you. I'm going to go into Ankalaev real quick. This guy is a precise striker. He's not a very volume guy, but he knows where the openings are and he takes them. So he's more of a sniper than he is a machine gun, if that makes sense. So the guy's gonna pick his shots and he's gonna really, really think about where to land it, look for the perfect opening, and if the perfect opening doesn't present himself, brother, he's just gonna shoot in and use that Dagestani level wrestling on you. And because he got that high level grappling, this guy has smothering top pressure. One of the best top fighters, pound for pound, in the entirety of the UFC right now is Magomed Ankalaev, in my humble opinion. So he's got excellent ground and pound, and he's coming off of a win versus Johnny Walker earlier this year in January. And there's a fucking reason why he's number 2 ranked in the world, and there's a reason why he's a minus 395 favorite. Now, but I know I just said all of that. Let's not downplay Alexander Rakic. This guy is fucking tough as nails, and he's gonna keep fighting no matter how much he gets fucking beat up. Even when he got TKO'd by Yuri Prohaska back at UFC 300, brother, he almost knocked him out in round 1. So, I mean, the dude's fighting spirit is absolutely incredible. He's plus 310 underdog, sure. And he's coming off of that really close fight at UFC 300. But the dude has got power. He's got so much power. The dude is going to hit you, and he's going to let you know that he hit you. Either by hitting you again, or you're just going to, shit into brain trauma, and then you're just going to go and shortfall, quick nap. You know what I mean? And then, the guy, I don't know, from Rakic ever since he came back, I know his first fight back was against Yuri Prohaska, but when the dude came in, I felt this energy off of him from the fucking screen that this dude was on a fucking mission to fucking win. Because let's be honest, the way he got injured, he was doing really well against Jan Blachowicz, guys. He was doing really well against Jan Blachowicz back in May of 2022. And he tore his ACL mid-fight, or his Achilles, it was one of the two. And that's how Jan Blachowicz ended up winning the fight. Ever since he's come back from that injury, there is something within Alexander Rakic that has changed, at least from my intuition, how I'm watching him walk out, how I'm watching him fight. The way I saw him fight against a former champion in Yuri Prohaska, I'm like, this guy is on a mission. He wants to get to the top, and he's going to go by any means necessary. Now, I think this is probably a number 1 contender fight for light heavyweight, would you say?
I think so, too. For sure it is.
Yeah, I think, whoever wins this fight, they just got to get a title next. I mean, Alex Pereira's ripping through that division right now. He needs contenders. I think this one's the perfect one. Because you have Magomed Ankalaev, which, that's a fight I want to see with Pereira. Because Pereira hasn't gone up against a high-level grappler yet. Now, I'm not saying that his grappling ability is trash, but I'm also going to say he got taken down by Israel Adesanya. And the one time he went against, a decent grappler in Jan Blachowicz, he didn't look too good. I've told you guys multiple times, I don't think Alex Pereira won that fight against Jan Blachowicz. I love Alex Pereira, but I don't think he won that fight against Jan Blachowicz. But, don't matter, though. I think this is definitely a number 1 contender fight. Alex Pereira needs some contenders right now, since he's, ripping through everybody in that division, which he just recently defended the light heavyweight belt. We were right about our prediction. For once.
I was scared.
I was really scared. Khalil Roundtree came to fucking play.
Listen, our championship predictions haven't been doing well. The people we like haven't been showing up as they should. And Pereira looked a bit wobbled for a while there. I was really scared for him.
Brother, he got knocked down. He got knocked down in round 2. That right hook sent him to the fucking canvas. I mean,
up until that point, I couldn't tell if he would win.
And I mean, on my scorecard when I was watching the fight, Alex Pereira just went into Ultra Instinct Goku mode. In round 4, he started slipping, he started rolling, he started landing wherever the fuck he wanted. The dude just entered the fucking Matrix, and he saw everything coming. And yeah, the dude was in the zone that round 4. But going into round 4, man, I had Khalil Roundtree up 2-1, man. I think if Alex Pereira didn't have a good showing in round 4, he was gonna lose the fight unless he got a finish. Khalil Roundtree came to fucking play, and even though I like totally shit on him during the podcast for his PED usage, bro was really humble after he lost. And god damn it, man, I kind of like Khalil Roundtree now. I mean, dude showed up, dude got an unlikely title shot, and dude, he was winning that fight. He was winning. And then just, Alex Pereira turned on the trauma mode and just turned on trauma mode.
The
And
second that he just was like, shit, I'm Alex Pereira.
trauma. And then he just fucking ended his day. But goddamn, it was an excellent fight of the night for sure. But regardless though, back to Rakic and Ankalaev. Unlikely that Rakic wins this fight. I will be taking Magomed Ankalaev to win by ground and pound TKO, probably in the 3rd round or the 2nd round. But if Alexander Rakic becomes the one to beat Magomed Ankalaev, I'm not shocked. And that's the prediction right there. I will be taking Magomed Ankalaev. I think he's just too good. It's a little bit too well rounded. But don't take me predicting against him as me counting him out, because I'm not counting out Rakic for this fight. But I'm taking Magomed Ankalaev. Final answer.
So, both these fighters, I have pretty high stocks in, but I have higher stocks in Ankalaev to win this. Although, it's probably just because I've seen more from him and I like him a bit more than I like Rakic. But when I do see him, it's a fantastic fight for sure all the time, and I'm always on the edge of my seat because the dude's fucking good. There's a reason why he's ranked that high.
It's just facts.
So if he wins, good on you, mate. I wasn't expecting it, but it's not too surprising.
Yep, and the winner gets Alex Pereira. So, high stakes here. And I think if Rakic is to lose this fight, I think he warrants a rematch against Jan Blachowicz. Jan Blachowicz, you haven't fought in a year. Over a year, actually. More like a year and a half now. Get your ass back in the octagon. I want to see you fight again, and I want to see you go against Rakic a second time so we can get some closure as to who is the better man in that fight. Because can't convince me that you were better than him that night. Rakic looked pretty good against you. No disrespect to Jan Blachowicz. Love the guy. But, I want to see you rematch him. I want some closure on that one. And, yeah, so that's our prediction. Let's take Magomed Ankalaev, number 1 contender, light heavyweight. Let's see Alex Pereira go up against a skilled grappler. That'd be fucking sick. Before we move on to the next fight, though, if Magomed is to win and go up against Alex Pereira, and if Alex Pereira is to win, should Alex Pereira move up to heavyweight? Because he's got enough title defenses now. What you thinking? He thinking.
See, I wouldn't mind seeing Pereira there. It's just, as far as heavyweight, I'm really not a huge fan of the, I guess, legitimate champion he'd be called.
Oh, John Jones?
Yeah.
Yeah, he is the champ, but Tom Aspinall is the actual champ.
Defending.
Yeah, the
champ.
defending interim champion.
So, John Jones, I don't like. I'm sorry, Dana White. I know you love him, but I don't like him. He's kind of a pussy.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm told earlier, like Greggy, but especially with Jones, that he's goated, which I'm not saying he's not. I'm not taking that away. I'm just saying I haven't seen it. He's a giant pussy for me.
Well, recently, definitely. But, if you go back into history books, yeah, he's pretty badass.
I'm not saying he isn't, even if he might have had some illicit scandals involving usage of
PEDs. Oh, yeah. No, I'm not defending his behaviors.
No, it's nothing about that. It's just current John Jones that I am seeing running the current heavyweight is currently a pussy.
Yeah, he's pretty much pussy, dude.
Although I do see a lot of good fights in heavyweight that will definitely sell a lot. I actually think don't think Pereira will be used to fighting those bigger guys, honestly.
I mean, Pereira's a tank, but I don't think he's that much of a tank. There are some people in heavyweight that have to cut to get to heavyweight. All right, that's fucking crazy. You have to cut to get to heavyweight. You know.
So yeah, those guys I'd be very worried seeing him go against. I'm sure his damage is there, but the absorption factor is definitely different.
Oh yeah.
So while I would see it, I don't see him making it to champion if he has to get through all those guys. If he gets the fast pass and he just has to beat one or two and then in title contention there, sure. But it depends on the guys he's facing.
It's true. But I will say one thing to counter your point. If he does move up to heavyweight, it's going to be as the light heavyweight champion. So that's going to like automatically pretty much give him a ticket to go to the champion just for the champ fight. But that's
like that. I don't like when a champ fight doesn't have to do anything to get to there.
Yeah.
You know?
But I'm just saying how it normally goes. But anyway, give us Magomed Ankalaev. We'll see the future on Pereira at heavyweight, and heavyweight's also a fucking mess. But that's next pay-per-view.
I will say, just tossing it out there, I feel like I'll see Adesanya versus Pereira before I see Adesanya in heavyweight. Adesanya looks like he's back for blood, and I know he lost, but I also know that Pereira wanted to give him a shot in the octagon. I say it would sell, but I wouldn't be looking forward to it until I see more from Adesanya. He's kind of been a bit lackluster.
I mean,
but I think I would see that before I see heavyweight Pereira.
Yeah, so you said heavyweight Adesanya, but yeah, I think you meant light heavyweight. That's all right. But nah, yeah, I mean, Adesanya was winning that fight. He just made a dumbass decision at the end of round 4, and like he was winning like every round.
Adesanya was his 4th favorite fighter, by the way.
Hey, I'm not shy about my biases on here. You know me. I'm gonna tell you Dustin Poirier can beat John Jones. So I mean,
Let's get it.
Dustin Poirier is not beating John Jones. I don't actually think that. I'm just going to tell you that I'm not shy about my biases on here. If you want to see a non-biased MMA podcast, go watch Ariel Helwani, not me. I'm gonna let you know how I feel. But Adesanya was doing okay. He just made a fucking dumbass decision and he fucking lost. I don't even know. He's directionless right now, Mr. Adesanya. I think I don't know where the fuck he does next.
That's why I think I'd see Adesanya Pereira before I see Pereira heavyweight.
Yeah, it's because Adesanya, especially now that he didn't regain the middleweight title for a 3rd time, then yeah, he's directionless. His direction might just be Pereira, and maybe Adesanya gets lucky again, knocks him out. Well, he didn't get lucky. He kind of.
I think that's even tougher than it would originally intend to be. Both regaining the title and taking it from Pereira.
Those are just gigantic mountains to climb.
And now you want to do it when he's even bigger?
I mean, Adesanya's got a 7-year bloodlust, man. Don't go against that. And he did knock out. He's the only person that's beaten Alex Pereira since Alex Pereira's gotten to the UFC. So, got to give credit where credit's due. But the credit came from a 7-year bloodlust and an 0-3 record against the same fucking dude. Obviously, you're going to get pissed off and knock the guy out. So, I mean, anyway, moving on to this featured fight at featherweight, we have Leroy Murphy and Dan Ige. All right, guys, Dan Ige has had one hell of a fucking year this year, man. Dude was supposed to watch UFC 303 and just at home with his boys, and then he gets called and he's going to be at UFC 303. Then he proceeded to have a fucking banger with Diego Lopez and came up short, but it was a banger. Like, dude, he had no business going tit for tat with Diego Lopez like that, bro.
I'm going to be honest, I want all my UFC fighters to be able to do that on the spot.
Like,
I know
bro,
I won't, but
like, bro went in there and cooked.
2 hours notice, sure.
2 hour notice. Oh, you want me to fight today? Sure, I'll go and kick some ass. And then he did go kick some ass, and he got his ass kicked. Like, it was a fucking banger for no reason. And yeah, Danny Ige has just been on fire this year, man. And I fucking love him. I mean, he's tough as nails. He's number 14th ranked featherweight in the world right now. He does kind of play that perennial gatekeeper role at featherweight, but that don't fucking matter. The dude's fun to watch. He's got excellent jiu-jitsu. That's his best thing. But he is a pretty well-rounded guy, and obviously we saw him fucking go tit for tat with Diego fucking Lopez. So I mean, that was insane. And he's a pretty well-rounded fighter. A dude always puts on a banger every time he's in there. And I'm super excited to see Ige fight this one. Now, Leron Murphy though. Leron Murphy here. Don't sleep on this guy. You might want to start paying attention to Leron a little bit. This guy has been ranking up a couple of wins for a while now. And he's on a 3-fight winning streak right now. And his last win was against Edson Barboza, which that's a pretty big win for somebody at featherweight. And that's pretty elite competition. Edson Barboza, yeah, he might not be as good as he once was, but he's still really good. It's kind of like an RDA situation with Edson Barboza. But you might want to start paying attention to this guy, honestly. He's the number 12 ranked featherweight right now. So he's still very much on his rise. And this guy is super well-rounded. His stats were basically equal as far as significant strikes landed and his accuracy and takedowns landed. This guy is a little British phenom right now, okay? And definitely keep your eye on him. Now, I could be telling you this and then Danny Ige goes and fucking sleeps him. But still, pay attention to this guy. Just for now. Like, even if he does lose this fight, give him another shot. This guy's looking pretty good right now. He's young. He's still got time to cook, get up in the rankings. And every single time he fights, it's impressive. It's a good fight. The guy has, I think, 5 first-round finishes. And he's obviously on this pretty big winning streak right now. And if he beats somebody like Dan Ige, he's just going to get a better opponent next. Like, he's going to get, obviously, I think we can both agree, winner of this one gets somebody at top 10.
Oh, yeah.
Easily, at least top 10. And if it's an emphatic and impressive win for either guy, top 5. But, it's just, like, pay attention to Leron Murphy, okay? Just for now. And, maybe he just flunks and he's a fraud, but, pay attention to him. And then, obviously, Danny Ige. You see his name on the fucking fight card, you know it's about to be a banger. So, I mean, fucking obviously pay attention to Danny Ige. That dude's fucking tough. I love him. But, this is the one that I had a lot of trouble with predicting. Just because it's close. Both guys are pretty high stocks right now. Like, Leron Murphy's steadily rising. Danny Ige just spiked over the summer. But I think I'm going to slightly lean towards Leron Murphy by a decision. I don't think any finishes will happen, but I think it's going to be a very good fight. I don't think it's going to be fight of the night, but it has the potential to be fight of the night. A lot of the fights that I've already mentioned have potential to be fight of the night. But I think this one has a pretty strong case. I mean, obviously we have the co-main and main event, which are going to be excellent. But I'm going to take Leron Murphy for this one. I think he's going to get a pretty big win here. Start making his climb.
This is definitely my coin flip of the night. I can see this going either way. And I wouldn't be upset either or.
Me neither.
I can't say how it'll happen, but I'm gonna give this to Ige.
There we go.
Slightly.
Yeah, it's really tough. This is the big coin flip. All the other guys, we basically have a pretty obvious which way we're leaning with them.
You got a good understanding of their skills and like what they do, their feats, how they're gonna react with the opponent and whatnot. We can kind of picture it in our heads, but these guys,
it's a little bit harder because we see Dan Ige, who's constantly always been ranked in featherweight, but he's always played like that gatekeeper. Sometimes he wins, sometimes he loses. Like, that's how Danny Ike's been. But then after he had that fucking banger with an up-and-coming guy on 3 hours notice, that's insane. All right? So, definitely high stocks for both guys right now. Danny Ike's stock was declining, and it just fucking spiked back up. If you're looking at it from an economics perspective, I'm making economic perspectives
I was
for
gonna say
fucking
you have
UFC
way
fights.
too much college.
I have way too much fucking college under my hands, dude. Leroy Murphy has been steadily rising. So, pick which one you want to be the better investment.
Be talking about stocks and bonds pretty soon.
Yeah,
it's
really bad, guys. My entire life is school. It's hard, but yep. So that's what we're gonna do. This is
When was the last time you practiced a yo-yo trick?
Oh shit. Probably summertime. Yeah, probably like July. when little whoopsie daisy happened at my work. So I'm not gonna say it, but a little whoopsie daisy happened at my work, and yeah. But anyway, co-main event. We have a 5-round co-main event here, which is rare. We don't usually get these unless it's a title fight. We have Robert Reaper Whitaker, and Hamzat Chimaev. Hamzat Boris Chimaev. Guys, this is the fight we've been waiting for. This is the fight we've been waiting for. It was supposed to happen back in July. Obviously, Hamzat Chimaev had to pull out, unfortunately, due to some illnesses. And Robert Whitaker would then go on to face Ikram Aliskerov, in which he had an emphatic round 1 knockout over Ikram Aliskerov, who was probably the most deadly-looking prospect at middleweight next to Hamzat Chimaev. But let's be honest, Hamzat Chimaev hasn't been doing a lot at middleweight. This is only his second fight at middleweight. He's mostly been doing his shit at welterweight, but he got kicked out of there when he missed weight by 8 pounds and had to switch a whole fucking card around because he decided to miss weight. The catchweight card, Nate Diaz and Tony Ferguson in the main event.
He didn't even retire.
And that would have been perfect. Honestly, that would have been perfect for Tony if he just fucking hung it up right there. Even Nate, that was the last fight in his contract. So, like, double retirement right there. That was perfect. But, no, they didn't. They decided not to do it, and that's okay. I guess. Even though I have to keep watching Tony Ferguson fucking lose.
No. We don't have to see him ever again. He left half a glove.
Yeah, but here's the thing. A little bit of more MMA news that's come rolling in this week that I forgot to mention at the rip here. Donald Cerrone has said that he wants to come out of retirement. And Tony Ferguson says he wants him. Cerrone and Ferguson to anyone? I mean, the first one, Tony won. Maybe this one, Cerrone wins. But
I blame 301 King of Rio for this. Old fighters coming out of retirement shit.
Yeah, for real. Like, God damn it, Jose Aldo. Why'd you have to come out of retirement and think everybody
and do so well?
And do so well. And give this false hope to these people that have been retired in like the best way. And you're like, I could do that too. Guys,
hey, let's get back in there.
Guys, you're not Jose Aldo, okay? Oh, Jose Aldo's fucking crazy. And I love Donald Cerrone with all my heart. Trust me, he's one of my favorites. Like, it's just one of those guys. How can you not like Donald Cerrone, But he's not Jose Aldo. He's not Jose Aldo. At his prime, the best he could do was top 5. He was like number 5. That was it.
Wait. I just thought of something. Not to get your hopes up, but light should be appearing in your eye. What if we get full-on double retirement from this match?
What, from Cerrone and Ferguson?
Yes.
That would be perfect. That would be perfect. That's like the bookend. That's like the actual bookend. And besides, that's like the perfect opponent. They're both old and washed up. It's perfect. They're both over the age of 40. God damn it. Tony. There's nothing confirmed yet. But Tony Ferguson said, Cerrone's out of retirement. I want him. And I'm like, it's a rematch. Tony Ferguson won the first one. But, oh, man. I don't know, man. God damn it, Aldo. Why'd you have to come back and be good?
Think about it. Cerrone loses. Ferguson gets to retire on a win. Cerrone gets back into retirement.
You know, that's actually the perfect bookend, honestly. Let's have Tony go 2-0 against Donald Cerrone, and they both just retire. Right there, in the center of the octagon. I mean, you're not going to catch lightning in a bottle and retire with Nate Diaz. That was honestly the perfect time. But this might just be second. This might be second. Because retiring with Michael Chiesa, of all people, it's just not as satisfactory as retiring with somebody like Donald Cowboy Cerrone. Anyway, back to the co-main event. Robert Whittaker, last second against Ikram Aliskerov, knocks him out round 1. Fucking crazy. It was an emphatic knockout. And Robert Whittaker,
scary motherfucker.
He is a scary motherfucker. Robert Whittaker, obviously you don't need me to introduce you to him. He's a former middleweight champion of the world. He's beaten pretty much every middleweight unless your name is Israel Adesanya or Dracus du Plessis. So, if your name isn't Dracus du Plessis or Israel Adesanya, more than likely you're not going to beat Robert Whittaker. That's just how it's been. And, you know, he's a balanced fighter. Got excellent fucking cardio. The dude can go 5, 10, 15, 20 rounds. I'm sure he wouldn't even break half a sweat. But, Whittaker's specialty, obviously, he's called Bobby Knuckles. So Bobby Knuckles, good with the hands, right? But don't mistake him for just a boxer, man. He ain't just a boxer. The dude can wrestle. The dude's got good clinch striking. The dude's got good kicks. The dude's got good submissions. Robert Whittaker's like a fucking Swiss Army knife. And he's also a really fucking likable guy. How could somebody look me dead in the face and say, I don't like Robert Whittaker? Like, find me somebody that will. Maybe a toxic Izzy fan. But that's about it, though. Other than that, I don't think there's anybody that can really shit talk Robert Whittaker. I fucking love Robert Whittaker, man. And I think, yeah, he definitely wants his belt back. And I think he wants redemption against Dracus du Plessis, seeming as Dracus du Plessis is the last person to beat him. And that was last July of 2023. So, yeah, I think he wants that one back. I think he wants his belt back. He's been wanting his belt back since Israel Adesanya took it from him and then beat him for it.
That's been here.
Yeah, yeah, man, you don't need me to tell you much about Robert Whittaker. The dude's tough as nails. Dude's got an excellent chin. Dude's got good submissions, good takedown, good clinch striking, kicks, punches, all of it. Dude can do it all. Now, let me warn you guys about how fucking dangerous Khamzat Chimaev is. Alright, I don't think you remember. But this dude, I said it to Anthony earlier. Everybody wants to talk about who's the pound-for-pound #1 fighter in the world, right? It's the people be like, it's John Jones, it's Islam Makhachev, nah, it's Ilya Topuria.
John Jones still fights?
John Jones still fights? Huh? But, you could be, like, everybody argue, who's pound-for-pound #1? No. The pound-for-pound #1 fighter in the fucking world is round 1 Khamzat Chimaev. The dude's a brute, okay? He's just gonna come right at you, and he's gonna go, I kill everybody! And then he's gonna go at you, he's gonna be throwing punches, he's gonna be shooting takedowns, he's gonna be threatening submissions, and, like, the first, like, round of any Khamzat Chimaev fight is probably the hardest task that anybody can go through. Ask Kamaru Usman. Kamaru Usman got 10-8'd in round 1 against fucking Khamzat Chimaev. And then fucking everybody. Ask Kevin Holland, who was defending pretty well until he wasn't. And then ask fucking Li Jingliang. Oh, that poor soul. The only person that was able to survive round 1, Khamzat Chimaev, and still come back and fight him really well in like an absolute brawl was Gilbert Burns. Alright? So, I'm just saying. Khamzat Chimaev in the first round is pound-for-pound best fighter in the world. Alright? But after the first round, his pound-for-pound power depletes by, like, more than 50%. It's terrible. That dude's really got to work on cardio. But, shit, man. Khamzat Chimaev at round 1 is crazy. The dude has elite-level wrestling. The dude has constantly threatening submission. Don't care what the fuck he is. He's going to choke you. He's going to give you an armbar. He's going to get you a Kimura. He's going to get you a heel hook. He don't give a fuck. He's always looking for it. He can even do ground and pound. He can even do ground and pound. And just pound your face in. And then that's just that. But, you know, and he's also one of the last remaining undefeated fighters in the world right now. I believe he's 13-0 currently. And, guys, this is a pretty big fight. This is easily. I mean, obviously that fight against Kamaru Usman was a big test against a former champion, and he succeeded. But guys, you can't tell me that Hamzat didn't look rough at the end of that fight, man. Kamaru Usman was starting to get the better of him, and if it went to round 5, man, if there was 5 rounds in that fight, I think Kamaru would have beat him. But who knows? Maybe that was a big teacher for him. He went back in the gym, fucking trained his ass off, and now he's coming back for more. But he's also got to go against the perennial number 1 contender at middleweight, known as Robert Whittaker, and a former champion at that, and a well-rounded guy. Because you look at the guys that he's fought. Kevin Holland, he's mostly a striker. You look at Kamaru Usman, mostly a wrestler with some pretty good boxing underneath him, but he's mostly a wrestler. And then you have his fight against Li Jingliang. That's just not the same level of competition. And then Gilbert Burns, he's mostly jujitsu, which is kind of hard when you have a fight like they had to incorporate jujitsu into it because it was a fucking car crash, that fight. But this is the first time he's going up against somebody that has a pretty well-rounded skill set and uses all his skills pretty damn equally. And this is gonna be a tough one for him. Hamzat Chimaev currently sits as the number 12 ranked middleweight in the world, and he's the minus 198 favorite. And Robert Whittaker, number 3 in the world, is plus 164 as the underdog. But these guys, it's gonna be a fucking banger, guys. I'm calling this to be fight of the night right here. And yeah, call me crazy, but I'm taking Robert Whittaker. I think Whittaker is going to be a puzzle that Hamzat Chimaev cannot solve. Because we've seen Robert Whittaker deal with aggressive opponents before. He disposes of them pretty quickly. Look at what Ikram Aliskerov did. He kind of did what Hamzat does in the first round, tried to go right at him right at the beginning. Look where that got him. Granted, it was a last-minute fight, but yeah. I think Robert Whittaker is going to be a puzzle that Hamzat Chimaev won't be able to solve. And I'm going to be taking Robert Whittaker to be the one to put the 1 in 13-1. So, give me Robert Whittaker.
This is also
It's a hard one. I had to think long and hard about this one.
it's like razor thin how close this is gonna be. But I got Whittaker for this. And I got Whittaker for this simply because he has that championship in him. Been there, done that. He's got that dog in him.
And 5-round experience. Hamzat Chimaev hasn't gone 5 rounds with anybody yet.
Yeah, well, Hamzat knocks him out round 1.
This is true. Pound for pound, best fighter in the world is Hamzat in round 1.
It's just, I know Whittaker has that in him, and when I see him fight, I know he still has that in him. Whereas Chimaev, when was the last time he fought? He couldn't because of health reasons.
Yeah, he was supposed to fight Whittaker in July.
In July.
But his last fight was Kamaru Usman last October.
So, when I see something like that, I see a large gap where, yeah, you were training for that fight against Whittaker in July, but then you couldn't do it because of health reasons. And I wonder if that prevents you from going back to the gym till you recover. And so I'm wondering, at that point, how your training regime's going, you know? So I think Whittaker's got this.
Yeah, I got Whittaker, man. I think like I said, I think Robert Whittaker's a puzzle that very little people can solve. I mean, Dracus du Plessis found an opening, and he just fucking cashed in on it. He clipped him once with a big stiff jab that he didn't see coming, and then he TKO'd him. Israel Adesanya ran circles around Robert Whittaker. But most of the time you see people go against Robert Whittaker, they can't figure him out. They can't figure out his rhythm. They can't figure out his footwork. They can't figure out what he's going to do because the dude's so well-rounded. He could throw a body kick at you, and then you're like, okay, maybe he wants to kick my leg next or go for my head, and then he shoots for a fucking takedown. Or maybe he's going to be boxing you up. He's going to be tuning you up with the hands. And you're like, okay, he wants to box with me now. Then all of a sudden he grabs the back of your head and knees you in the face. Like, Robert Whittaker's a puzzle. And you never know what he's going to do. And I think Hamzat Chimaev, who's, I said he's a very dangerous fighter. He's a good fighter, but he's extremely one-dimensional. He fights the same way every time. And if you fight the same way every time, enough times, and you go up against somebody that has such a high fight IQ, like Robert Whittaker, it's going to pose some issues. Because you're going to be like, okay, yeah, he just does this every time. I'll just use my knee, and that'll stop that. Or I'll kick him in the leg, like solid leg kick, and that'll do it for that. Or his takedowns come out from the center. I'm just going to make sure I avoid the center, you know? So I think, yeah, Robert Whittaker's a puzzle, man. And I don't think Hamza Chimaev is going to solve it. So give me Robert Whittaker. I don't think it's going to be a finish, but if it is going to be a finish, it's going to be in round like 3-ish, I would think, because I think or round 4-ish, we get to those later rounds when Robert Whittaker can still go, but Hamza Chimaev's kind of fading a little bit. And I think that's more likely where the finish is going to happen. Or round 1 by Hamza Chimaev being Hamza Chimaev in round 1. So I think the most likely rounds are like round 1 or round 4. Maybe round 3, where a finish could happen. If it goes beyond that, then it's going to be a decision. But I'm still going to be taking Robert Whittaker for this, and it's going to be fight of the night. I'm calling it. I think it's going to be an awesome fight. And I'm so super excited for Robert Whittaker and Hamza Chimaev. Now, the moment you've all been waiting for. Yes. Mwahaha. The main event. Ilya El Matador Topuria, the reigning defending featherweight champion of the world, versus Max Blessed Holloway, the BMF champion. Both of these guys are coming off of gigantic wins. Both of these guys are coming off of knockout finishes. Let's start with the challenger. Let's introduce Max Holloway, guys. I don't need to tell you much about Max Holloway. You guys know him. You guys love him. He's so super duper exciting, fan favorite fighter. He's coming off of a beautiful knockout over Justin Gaethje at UFC 300, and probably moment of the century, moment of the decade. Dude points in the center with the hardest puncher at 155 and fucking sleeps him when he was winning 4 rounds to 1. Bro did not have to call to, like spray and pray with Justin Gaethje at the end. Like stand and bang with him right at the end, right in the center of the octagon. And not only did he not have to do that, he fucking slept him. Dude was face first on the canvas. I have never seen Justin Gaethje get knocked out that fucking hard. Ever. I've seen him get TKO'd by Dustin Poirier and Eddie Alvarez, but never has Gaethje been fucking flatlined like he was against Max Holloway. Dude, Max was just him that night, dude. Everybody was going into that fight thinking that he wasn't going to do well. Gaethje would be too much for him. It's a new weight class. He's not going to do well. I was one of those people. I predicted Gaethje to win that fight, guys. God, was I wrong. But, he's tough as nails. He's got crazy fighting spirit. High volume striker. Probably one of the highest volumes ever. With about 7.1 strikes per minute. Super duper fast. He's got good takedown defense. And he's the BMF champion. But, guys, the person that stands across from him is just as dangerous. He's, if not more, than Justin Gaethje. Ilya Topuria. He's coming off of a knockout over Alexander Volkanovski. Alexander Volkanovski fucking flatlined him. The guy that held down the featherweight division for 5 fucking years got slept by Ilya Topuria. The dude is so well-rounded. Every time I watch Ilya Topuria fight, I don't ever see holes in his game. The guy's defense is on point. He's got excellent striking. Boxing's probably his best aspect, but the guy's got power. Scary, deadly power. He's a bad motherfucker and a scary motherfucker all at the same time. And he's undefeated. He's got excellent Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu as well. Guys, that's his base. He's excellent on the ground. He's got deadly takedowns. He hides those shits like a crazy man. And he is like, dude, he's insane. Ilya Topuria is insane. The dude is one of the best fighters that we have in the UFC right now. And to be honest, I can understand why he's the minus 258 favorite to win this fight. And Max Holloway's the plus 210 underdog. I can understand why he's such a heavy favorite. But, Max Holloway was doubted before. And he's proved us wrong. But I think there are more paths to victory for Ilya Topuria than there is for Max Holloway. So, think of it like this. Max Holloway's really fast. He's got a lot of volume, right? When he does that, that's his only way to victory, is he has to outpace, outmaneuver Ilya Topuria. Ilya Topuria just needs to touch you. Once he hits you once, you're going to feel the power. Now, I know Max has this fucking granite chin that hasn't been cracked yet, but, man, like, I see more paths to victory, like, logically, for Ilya Topuria. And say if he does keep moving in, say he does keep moving around, he can just negate that movement and speed with the takedown and submit him. Like, there are far more ways that Ilya Topuria will win this fight, but I don't give a fuck. I'm taking Max Holloway, man. Give me Max Holloway to fucking beat Ilya Topuria. Now, man, even though I said logically Ilya Topuria should win this fight, something tells me that Max Holloway's got something up his ass that he's just waiting to fucking let out. So give me Max Holloway to regain his featherweight championship against Ilya Topuria against every fucking odd, but I will not be shocked if Topuria knocks him out. Anthony, what you got? We're almost done.
So, is it? I don't like judging characters, really. Not my thing. But I don't like Ilya Topuria simply because he didn't beat the who's who in my mind to get there.
No.
And that is why he's always going to have a chip on his shoulder from me. So, I see Max Holloway winning this. And to go into depth with that, I'm going to go with the things I've seen Max Holloway do. he could convince me that a circle is a square. Really, he really could. And he doesn't have to use force to do it. He can just show me a bunch of different evidence. Just like, I don't know how I didn't see it. The dude can make me believe in him and that he's gonna do something. Now, we all know what happened to Volk. Obviously, his fall from his championship. And I think that did a lot on his own courage and confidence. And I don't think he was going into that fight with the best head on his shoulders. I really don't. Max Holloway, though, he's always been itching for that fucking belt. And now he has a shot at it. And there's never been a point where I've seen Holloway and I've thought, really, that's it? He's always exciting. He's always fulfilled expectations. He's always put me at the edge of my seat, and I've always been a diehard fan of him because of all that. You guys will probably get some type of revised Max Holloway card, but even in that one, you can tell, like, I thoroughly enjoy watching Max Holloway fight.
Dude, I mean, he's as marketed. He's as advertised every time he steps in there, man.
And the other side of the coin, Ilya, did y'all know he knocked out Volk?
Volk?
Yeah, he did.
He knocked out Volk.
I'm not taking that away from him. I get it. He's got power, and he's good. You want to know how I know he's good? Because he's a featherweight champion.
The dude's a champ. And he's, like, there's very little holes in his game, man. There really is.
Like I said, if you're a champion, I think that sets you apart, and I think it's with you for the rest of your career.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to take a while for me to think, oh, yeah, he was a champion before, wasn't he? No, I'm going to remember you were a champion for how you got it, how you defended it, how it looked when you defended it.
And then how you lost it.
If the fights you put on are engaging enough for me to watch, like all the Volk ones I watched were, like all the Adesanya ones I watched was, like the Usman was, like the Usman fight was, I talk to him all the time, like, hey, where's Usman? What's he been up to,
He's really got nothing lined up right now, man.
I remember Cyril Gane when he was the champion because Ngannou was gone, and then he came back, and then he's like, yeah, by the way, I've never lost that. I've had that dog in me. I remember these champions and what they did for either their place, how they defended it, or what they did for their division. And Ilya, I'm not taking anything away from him. The dude's fucking good, and he could definitely probably knock out Holloway, even though Max Holloway's chin needs to be studied, you know? It really
This shit's
does.
made of vibranium, man, I swear.
But I like... Yeah, it comes down to that. I like Holloway more, and I've seen more from Holloway that's going to have me put my faith in him. But if he loses, I'm not going to be surprised, and I probably won't be disappointed because he's never disappointed me.
Exactly. The dude is as advertised, man, and I'm not just going off a personal feeling here, man. I mean, it's partially personal feeling, I'm going to be honest with you. But at the same time, like, Max Holloway's just... He said it himself. He's him, guys, you know? Fuck you, Carmelo Hayes. You're not him. Max Holloway's him. You know? Like, the dude just finds a fucking way. I'm thinking about it, like, all the way back, like, when he was fighting all the contenders at featherweight. Oh, man. Oh, Calvin Cater's got excellent boxing. He's got good wrestling. Oh, I'm not sure how Max is going to do after losing to Volk. Where's his confidence at? And he fucking screams at the commentators, "Count it up! I'm the best boxer in UFC, baby!" And then he fucking beats Calvin Cater. And then when he goes against Arnold Allen, oh, Arnold Allen's a really dangerous striker. He could go tit for tat with Max Holloway. He's got a good chin on him. He's gonna outwork Max Holloway. What does Max Holloway do? Fucking dogs on him for 5 rounds. And then just with the fucking Yair Rodriguez, that fight when he had it. Oh, Yair Rodriguez, he's faster than him. He's got more kicks. He's more dynamic. He's more unpredictable. Max isn't gonna find a way to do it. He fucking wrestled him to death. And then you look back at fucking Korean Zombie. Oh, it's Korean Zombie's last fight. He's going to have the world on his shoulders. He's got more power than Max Holloway, which is true. He does. What does Max Holloway do? Fucking sleeps him in round 3. And then we go just recently with Justin Gaethje. I already mentioned it. Gaethje's too much. He's in a higher weight class. He's bigger than Max Holloway. He's got more power. He's going to outwork him. He's going to be the one to knock him out. I was a victim of that mentality. And what'd he fucking do? He gave his moment of the goddamn fucking century. Max Holloway, every time he's doubted, comes out with something. The only time he didn't was against Volk. And that's because it was Volk. Volk in his fucking prime just had Max Holloway's number. And that was just that. But every other time, there are more cases of Max Holloway proving people wrong and showing that he's got it than the times that there hasn't been. And even in the times that hasn't been, how much did Holloway's stock really fall? He lost to Volk. I think everybody was under the collective understanding that Volk is just fucking nuts. Alright? And the dude's not okay up here, and he fights like a fucking animal. And then Max Holloway couldn't figure him out. But that's it, guys. And new. Max Holloway. And I think it's probably going to be, I think he's going to outwork him. He's going to outwork Ilia Topuria. He's going to stay on the bike. He's going to chop at the legs, chop at the body, and then just jab at the head a little bit. And then Ilia's going to get so worn down because he's going to try to blitz at him, use his power. He's going to be big swings, to which Holloway's either going to A, eat it, or B, be able to defend it. His significant strike defense is pretty fucking good. Or he's going to wear himself out trying to shoot for takedowns. Max Holloway's takedown defense is pretty fucking good. And I think he's just going to outwork Ilia because Ilia has not gone for that long before. I mean, I'm sure he's training for it. I'm sure he has the potential to. But Ilia is a fast starter. Max Holloway's a long game guy. If he can weather that early Ilia Topuria storm, which I don't think he'll have much of a problem doing, because he weathered an early Gaethje storm in UFC 300, and he, he even weathered the storm when he got knocked down in round 4. They didn't count it as a knockdown, but let's be honest, guys. Justin Gaethje knocked down Max Holloway that fight. He weathered that storm. He came back and knocked him out in the 5th. I mean, Max Holloway, more times than not, has made a case for himself as to why he's the best that you can get, and why he's him. So yeah, that's it, guys. Give me Max Holloway. Fuck all the haters. And I don't think there's gonna be much haters. I'm pretty sure everybody in the MMA fan base is collectively rooting for Max Holloway here. I think even Dana White is. But that's the podcast, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in.
But I wasn't finished.
Oh shit, yeah, there you go.
And he skipped over me. But
how rude of me. My bad.
So, anyways, the jab won't land as effectively now. But you know, as enthusiastic as we are, I swear to you guys, we actually do have a Max Holloway spotlight.
We do. It's somewhere in the archives.
But the other thing is, with you said potential as a word, and I'm going to use that here too. With Ilia Topuria. See, the thing is, I like keeping my stock in fighters. And my stock in Ilya isn't that high because of the not shortcuts he got there. He did it. He put him away. But I don't see Ilya beating Volk at Volk's best. I don't see that. Max Holloway might be able to pull that off. I'll be honest. Because it depends on the situation that you're in. And we know Volk was in a bad spot there.
Yeah, just got knocked out by Islam Makhachev 3 months prior.
So I can't put my stock that I would have into Ilya then because I don't know if that was Volk at his best, you know?
Mhm.
Max, on the other hand, I have huge stocks in because of all the research we did and what we went in depth with in the fights I've seen. So because of that, you might say it's skewed or biased, but that's why I say Holloway's got this, and I'm going to say round 3 knockout.
Gonna sleep. I'm sorry I cut you off, really. I'm just, I saw you getting a little worn down over here. I was figured you wanted to change the subject, but that's
no,
my
just
bad.
Your voice was easy.
What was that? What was that? But yeah, so sorry about that. So yeah, guys, Max Holloway, man, I got
faith.
faith.
Fun fucking night.
It's gonna be a fun afternoon. It's gonna be the afternoon, but bring the donuts, Aunt. I want glazed. My mom wants strawberry frosted. Anyway, but yeah, Max Holloway, guys, I just can't doubt him. Sure, on paper, Max Holloway only has one path to victory, and that is to outmaneuver and outstrike Ilia Topuria. But what does Max Holloway do all the time against opponents? He outworks, outmaneuvers, and outstrikes them. And that's how he always finds an opening, unless your name's Volkanovski. But even then, sometimes a guy just got your number,
You know, I'm sure like the 7th time he might have been able to.
But Max Holloway knows who he is. He's going into this fight with probably the most confidence in the fucking world, honestly. Same with Ilya. I mean, he did just knock out Volkanovski. That's why this fight is so impactful, why it's so meaningful, why there's so much high stakes, and why it's probably the most sought after fight this year. Probably the most anticipated fight this year is this one. I mean, aside from what was supposed to be McGregor Chandler, but even then,
I don't have to keep mentioning that.
Yeah, but
I already keep mentioning that.
But at the same time, though, I still think this would have been more sought after. I mean, yeah, sure, it's Conor McGregor. Yeah, it's Michael Chandler. But
you have to do the whiskey.
I do have to do his whiskey. Connor, excellent whiskey, by the way. I'm 21, guys. I just turned 21 last weekend. It's pretty fun. So
there may or may not be videos.
There may or may not be videos of the amount of inebriated I got. But and my 21st. Have mercy on me. I tried out Proper 12 and actually was pretty good. I like it. I know a lot of people don't like it, but there are also people that like it. It's one of those things. It's an Irish whiskey. Like, I'm not, it's sweet and but yeah, but Connor, good whiskey. I liked it, but yeah, man. I mean, even then, like with the KO that Holloway had over Gaethje and the stamp that Ilia Topuria put on the knockout over Volk, I still think that this was a more sought after, more anticipated fight than even McGregor Chandler would have been. At least for MMA fans. For like the casuals out there that don't really tune in all that often, yeah, that was probably the bigger one. But man, so and we're only about a week out from it. So it's gonna be a good time. It's easily the fight that I've been most excited for this year. And we've had a couple of good ones in there. Dustin Poirier fought for a title, and I wasn't even that excited about that as I am for this one. Just because these guys are both in like very high regards to me right now. Like these two guys, I talk very highly of, and they've both coming off of impressive, unlikely wins. Everybody thought Volk was just gonna keep his belt at featherweight, and Topuria would just be another notch in the belt. But nah. And then Max Holloway obviously take the big risk against Gaethje. We all thought he wasn't going to do as good as he did, and then he did as well as he did. So I mean, to be honest, both of these guys very high regards. But
I honestly think even then, I gave Holloway like
yeah,
his
you
flowers.
predicted Holloway.
Yeah, because like we talk about bias and whatnot. I know you're biased towards Gaethje,
Yes.
and I think by that point we had already done the spotlight, right?
Yeah, we had already done the spotlight, and
So I was like, honestly, I felt like you were kind of discrediting Holloway a bit there. I know, like then he really proved himself to you, but I'm never gonna count him out. I feel like regardless, not next week, but the week afterwards. Right now, next week when this airs, maybe we do a spotlight on the other one
on
in the main event.
on Ilya.
Yeah,
I mean, there's not a whole lot of data on Ilya right now. I mean,
that we know of.
that's true, but I mean, I could do some deep diving, but like
Might be something to look into.
maybe. I think the Ilya one might have to wait, at least from my perspective, just because Ilya hasn't done a whole lot. I think he's only 5 fights into his UFC career, and yeah, he's probably got fights before that, and he's probably got a cool story behind him. I mean, he grew up in Spain, so yeah, actually, I wouldn't mind the sound. I wouldn't mind a Ilya Topuria
Let's see how it is.
spotlight.
If the fight's boring, then who cares?
I doubt this fight's gonna be boring, man.
No,
I think
Max could just knock him out.
somebody's going to sleep. Someone's going to sleep. So that's that, man. I mean, I think we made enough points to defend our Max Holloway prediction, man. I mean, the data kind of speaks for itself, because I'm also like, obviously it's coming a bit from a personal place, but it's also coming from a place of like data, like just the amount of times we've seen Holloway just be Holloway. Like, the dude's incredible. But yeah, that's UFC 308, guys. It's super exciting. Going down in Abu Dhabi, October 26th. Remember, guys, special start time. We're in the Middle East. It's gonna be earlier. 10 a.m. for the prelims, 2 p.m. for the main card. And yeah, let's see if our predictions are right. Obviously, we're gonna make TikToks while it's happening. So yeah, guys. Anything else, Ant?
How the fuck do you get your debut match to be against a champion?
You made an emphatic statement in your former promotion, which, from what I hear, the guy that's facing Pantoja definitely did. But yeah, guys, tune in for UFC 308. Thanks for tuning in. Have a good one.